Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Bengt. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're talking about how it really is those fucking screens, man. And this morning, I finished watching a video by Healthy Gamer that summarizes a lot of this. And it was really eye-opening and made me think about a lot of the things that are going on in my life. And it's very, very relevant to the stuff that I talk about on this channel. And basically, to give you kind of the quick summary, smartphones, screens, this kind of technology that we interact with all of the time has been around long enough now where we've basically reached like the critical stage or like the end stage of screen addiction. And we'll talk about what that means for people as far as how it makes them feel and how it affects their lives in a minute. But to kind of just expand on that a little bit further, when you become addicted to something, it doesn't just instantly become, negative in your day-to-day life. Like, it doesn't, the long-term effects of that addiction are not felt instantly, right? And you don't become an alcoholic and then the next day your liver shuts down. This is like years and years of, baking into your fucking system, basically, where these things don't manifest themselves right away. They take a little bit of time to develop. And we're at a point now where smartphones, this kind of technology that we interact with all of the time, has been around long enough where we're starting to see some of the long-term side effects of it. And the case studies and the literature and the research are always going to be several years behind, but we can just go based off of what people are reporting and what people are experiencing and pretty much draw the line and connect the dots and say 2 + 2 = 4. So pretty much what happens is we spend all of this time on screens, and essentially it creates these mini feedback loops that short circuit our dopamine, that activate these different centers in our brain that make us really, really want to do this thing over and over and over and over again. And essentially, we have an allotted amount of dopamine to spend every single day. Imagine it like you wake up in the morning and you have 10 dopamine in your piggy bank that you can choose to spend on whatever it is you want to spend it on. And if you spend it on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, video games, porn, and junk food, well, then you have absolutely zero dopamine left over to do anything productive with your life, like going to the gym, or, working on a business, or whatever else, reading a fucking book, for Christ's sake. Like, all of these things require dopamine, require you to, get some sort of feel-good response from these things in order to do them again. This is your brain's way of creating a reward system where if you do something that benefits your life, it makes you feel good, and it also makes you more likely to do that thing again because your brain wants to get the reward again. And all of these platforms that are competing for our attention have gotten really, really good on like a scientific and chemical level, on a behavior psychologist level, of mass extracting our fucking time and attention from us. They are designed to light up all of the reward centers of your brain. They are designed to be habit forming and create patterns and loops. And you probably don't need to, you're probably listening to me say this and are like, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck's going on, because you might find yourself on TikTok, on Instagram, doing these things, and you don't even realize that you're doing it. You don't even open the app with an intention, with a reason for doing these things. And it's basically like we've gotten so hooked and stuck into these patterns of basically just mindlessly, brain rotting ourselves. And we create these memes and this shit like brain rot and all these other things. We know what the fuck is going on, bro, and we're just letting it happen. We're basically getting fucking harvested, bro. And it's kind of crazy. And, a lot of people are starting to feel the effects of this and don't necessarily know what to do. And the first thing is obviously, like with any issue, is identifying that it is an issue in the first place. And the biggest thing is like, bro, if you feel lost in life, if you feel like you have no direction, if you feel like you can't even make plans for the future because, you just don't even see one that exists in a way that you want it to, if you have trouble setting goals or like committing to things or like taking action on stuff, it's basically because you have turned your fucking brain off, bro. You have set yourself on cruise control, on fucking autopilot, and you're letting the screen do a lot of the thinking for you. And this is something that I've talked about in other videos too, where it's like, if you can sit down, meditate for a moment, or not even meditate, just fucking reflect and observe the thoughts that are going through your brain and figure out how many of them come from your own mental point of origin, or if they're thoughts that have been implanted or are spawned kind of by some inspiration or some other person, thing, piece of content, whatever. Basically, we have outsourced our thinking, we have outsourced our, mental impulse control, our cognitive, functioning, our behavior patterns. All of these things are now controlled by the screens. And if you don't take that control back, basically your fucking willpower will just erode into nothingness, and you're pretty much gonna wake up and be at the mercy of the screens all day, every day. And the deeper that you get into this loop, into this feedback cycle, the harder and harder it is to break, because the farther and farther you start to get from your goals, the more detached you start to become from real life. Now all of a sudden, the most basic of social interactions becomes difficult. Anything that would move you forward in life remotely, it becomes this huge mountain, this obstacle that you need to climb over, when in reality it's just a basic kind of everyday task. If you can't get the fuck up out of bed in the morning because the allure of just staying in fucking bed and rotting there and watching some fucking YouTube videos is more important to you, or is easier, and your brain just fucking gets stuck in that loop over and over again, that is a really, really good way, surefire way to end up super fucking depressed, super unhappy, and probably push you to the verge of fucking self-deleting. Because bro, if you wake up and you're 35 years old and you realize you have a fucking TikTok addiction and you've done nothing with your life the past 20 years because you've just decided you wanted to scroll Instagram and YouTube and fucking play video games and fucking beat your meat on fucking Jerkmate ranked, bro, you are literally gonna be I wasted my entire life, what the fuck? So please, bro, for the love of God, realize that these screens are it. It is the fucking devil, bro. And there's going to be people that argue, oh, video games are good, and oh, porn is great for you. It's, bro, no, I don't think so. And yes, being on an iPhone or Android, whatever the fuck, having access to this thing that I'm even recording this video on, this screen right now is enabling me to do something good and productive, arguably. Right? I run my entire business on my phone and my computer, so I spend a lot of fucking time in front of these screens. And I can tell you from personal experience, yes, for sure, the longer that I've spent running online businesses, doing stuff in front of screens, the harder and harder it's become to do other shit. It really is it doesn't even matter if it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, video games, whatever. Just the blue light fucking screen triggers some fucking dopamine and kind of starts to turn your brain off, and it becomes extremely hard to focus. And bro, I would definitely be the type of person that would self-diagnose myself by having hardcore fucking ADD, ADHD, whatever the fuck. I don't really believe that's a real thing in the clinical sense that they try to label it as, but if you take someone that's that, that's arguably more prone to addictive behaviors, or very sensitive to stimulants or other things like that, and then you give them basically unlimited access to free fucking dopamine with no upfront cost and basically unlimited perceived reward. You don't get anything at the end of it, but your brain feels like it's doing something in the process, or it's getting that feel-good chemical in the process. So that's all you really need. It's a fucking perfect storm of fuckery to have 99% of people, especially in my generation or younger, completely got by the fucking balls by this basically monster of a fucking machine that is just harvesting your fucking attention, your willpower, your desire to achieve anything in life. And they're making billions of fucking dollars doing it, dude. It's absolutely insane. And I don't know what the perfect solution is, but for me, the biggest thing is just limit the screen time, man. Limit it. You have to have the discipline to do it. We're at a point now where there is the fork in the road where I think it's undeniable that if you don't make your decisions for you, and if you don't stick to yourself making those decisions, like if you're not hardcore about your discipline and about your willpower and your decision making, instantly something else is grabbing that power from you and making it for you. Like, everything about our society right now has become super optimized to a point where it's like kind of disturbing. Marketing has gotten really fucking good. Behavior psychology has gotten really fucking good. Just, we understand so much about our own nature that we are able to basically max extract all the fucking value, resources, money, attention that we can from anybody that we want. And these huge corporations, bro, are spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year hiring the best possible people to crack the code on how can we get more of these people's attention, how can we get more of these people's fucking money. And it's like, bro, you have to understand this shit is baked down to a fucking science. So literally, to kind of bring this back full circle to what I was saying a second ago, if you're not in full control of your dopamine and making your own decisions, the second that there's a small overlap or lapse in your fucking judgment, these companies are right there ready to come in and take it from you. It doesn't even have to be a company. It can be another person, another app or whatever. It's like, dude, we are at a point now where it's like we are about to like pretty much be living in the Matrix, where it's like there's the Walking Dead out there right now. People functioning, people operating in day-to-day life, walking around, driving around every single day that are just like sleepwalking, bro. They're not making their own decisions. They have no goals in life. They're just being led through the fucking maze by their algorithm or whatever fucking, app they're on. It's like other people are doing their thinking for them. They don't even know why they're doing the things that they're doing. And that's another really dangerous part about this whole dopamine addiction and screen thing is like, you basically become a fucking smooth brain, bro. And the more that you erode your self-control, your discipline, your willpower, your decision-making and thinking, and the more that you start to give that away to these apps and to these addictions, you basically like start to turn off these centers of your brain that allow you to even get it back. And it becomes harder and harder and harder to like get yourself to be normal or feel normal or get to a point where you're like back at the fucking wheel again. And it's just like going to the gym. If you go to the gym every single day, your muscles are going to be pumped up and you're going to arguably like you're going to grow bigger, you're going to get stronger. If you don't use it, you lose it. And the same thing goes for all of your mental patterns, all of your mental processing. It's just like using your physical muscles. And it's very obvious to us when we go to the gym and then stop going to the gym that the progress gets lost. But with the mental thing, it's a little bit harder to fully recognize what's happening because there maybe for a period of time isn't a physical foreseeable result that we can like put our hands on and wrap our hands around that really is like concrete evidence that our lives are being destroyed by this little thing. And that's why, like, regardless of if it's a screen or smoking or whatever the fucking addiction is, bro, it's a slippery slope because in the beginning, things are fine and you're functional, but then eventually you just, like, reach the critical tipping point where everything up until that, there wasn't a whole lot of evidence that this thing was completely fucking up your life. And then after you pass that critical point, it's like there's no going back and you are now, like, in a hole trying to dig yourself out. And it's very difficult. Like you just, all of a sudden, there's a train wreck of things where you wake up one day and you realize all the little pieces of your life that have been affected by this thing. And it's hard to really grasp that. And it's hard to really fully realize that until that critical point happens. Like it's just the slow decay, slow erosion of shit. And then all of a sudden, boom, you wake up and you realize this. My entire life is like kind of fucking revolving around this thing and it's a little fucked up. So it's extremely hard, man, but please, if you're watching this, man, get back on the horse, start to train that discipline and that willpower again, limit your screen time, and the biggest thing Like for me, here's the thing. I might not be the best at this, and I'm preaching to the choir. I feel like most people understand all the things we're talking about in this video, and I'm not perfect either, not pretending to be, not claiming to be at all, right? I struggle with this shit just like the rest of y'all. But for me, I care a lot about like money, and I'm pretty good with my spending and like financial habits, right? Like I don't really fuck up my money that bad. I'm pretty financially responsible, I would say. So for me, I think about dopamine now the same way that I think about money. I wake up every day with my dopamine allowance, and how am I going to spend this dopamine allowance to maximize my ROI, to maximize my return on investment? If you put things for me in terms of money and making money and investing, all of it starts to make a little bit more sense. I do have that kind of like financial kind of business mind where it's like, logically, this is what makes sense to do because it gives us the best possible outcome. So I started thinking about dopamine like my get shit done piggy bank. And it's like, if I have to spend this dopamine to maximize my returns, you know, the path forward becomes pretty obvious. Less screen time, more doing fucking real work, more reading, more books, more fucking exercise, more doing the things that would make a normal human feel happy and fulfilled and, you know, be like socially like calibrated, I guess, like the things that would give you a full, you know, kind of colored life and allow you to like go out and do what you want in the world. So think about your dopamine piggy bank. Where are you fucking up, bro? Because if you're splurging your allowance on a new pair of shoes every week and, you know, buying fucking, you know, junk food or going to Chuck E. Cheese, like, bro, think about all the like literally just think about your dopamine that you're spending, and if it makes sense what you're spending it on. Are you splurging? Are you fucking up your money? Are you not planning for your future? Are you being financially irresponsible? Are you being dopamine irresponsible? You know what I mean? And think about how you can adjust or calibrate or tweak some of your dopamine expenditure to maximize the outcome that you want and minimize the ones that you don't. All right, if you made it this far in the video, guys, you're a real one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you want access to my total protocol for self-improvement, you can download it for free. It's the first link in the description. Until next time, guys, stay strong, stay blessed, stay dangerous. And if you want to watch another video, I'll put one on the screen right here. Check it out. All right, deuces.